There is something prophetic that links Pope Leo XIV to something disturbing that is coming. Like the great prophets of antiquity, he made it clear from his first gesture, the choice of his name. This is not just a new pontificate, it is a threshold, a passage, because what is coming will change everything. Stay until the end, because maybe it has already begun. In the restless heart of our century, the Church has spoken, and it has done so through a name, Leo. Because in the history of the Church, nothing is ever random, and every name chosen by a pope is in itself a judgment on time. Leo XIII saw the dawn of the age of the machine and capital, the dissolution of the Christian order, overwhelmed by the Industrial Revolution. He responded to that world with Rerum Novarum, a prophetic act that defended the worker, the family, and the common good from the jaws of inhuman liberalism. Leo XIV today faces no less dangerous times. If yesterday man was exploited in the body, today he is manipulated in intelligence, in consciousness, in truth itself. Artificial intelligence is the new idol, shiny, efficient, dehumanizing. And that name, Leo, once again sounds like a warning signal. The Church is preparing to defend not an ideology, but man himself, the image and likeness of the Creator. There is one point that we can no longer ignore. The great transformations of history are always guided by those in power. And in our time, a new ruling class is forming. It is not noble, it is not political, it is not even spiritual. It is a technocratic elite, invisible and very powerful, made up of big investors, innovation managers, masters of data and algorithms. Men who do not know the hard work of work, who never speak of the common good, who believe in nothing except growth, efficiency, profit. This elite is not interested in man. It does not see him as a person, but as a resource, a target, a user. And when man is no longer needed, he is replaced, ignored, reduced to a fact. Work, which according to Catholic doctrine is an instrument of dignity, vocation, participation in creation, for them is only a cost to be eliminated. Jobs that once gave meaning to people's lives are now being swept away by predictive models and automation. No one asks what happens to those left out, because no one answers to a moral law anymore. Once upon a time, even the cruelest rulers knew they had to answer to God. Christian monarchies, with all their limitations, retained one idea: that power should serve, not dominate. Today, it is no longer like that. Today, power legitimizes itself in the name of absolute freedom and unlimited profit. It is relativism applied to economic, social, even biological reality. We talk about progress, but we forget the person. We promise freedom, but we impose a single model, where everything that does not produce is discarded. Yet, the voice of the Church is not new to these challenges. When the Industrial Revolution threatened to crush the people, it was Leo XIII who forcefully denounced exploitation to remind that every worker has the right to a fair wage, to humane conditions, to a stable family life. Today, Leo XIV finds himself facing a more subtle, but no less serious, threat: a world in which man is not exploited because he is no longer useful. One of the deepest wounds of our time is not only in the world, but also within the church. As man is reduced to numbers, as work loses value and truth is dissolved into opinions, many of those who should lead God's people are silent. Or worse, they speak without saying anything. Catholic theologians, pastors, and intellectuals often seem more concerned with pleasing the world than with serving the truth. They pursue the language of inclusion, adaptation, and compromise. But behind certain sweet words lies a greater drama, the abandonment of the prophetic voice. That voice that throughout history has always been able to tell the truth even when it cost. Today, man is lost because he has been deprived of his reference. If everything is relative, if nothing is certain, then even his dignity becomes negotiable. This is how the door to dehumanization opens, when no one has the courage to say what is good and what is bad. And here, the silence of the church hurts more than the words of its enemies. The crisis does not only come from outside, it also comes from within. From pastors who have forgotten to be sentinels, from theologians who speak like technocrats, from bishops who remain silent while man is redefined by the logic of profit and control. But the faithful people perceive the void. They know that something is wrong, and perhaps in Leo XIV, they recognize a different sign. A pope who does not want to be nice, but true, who does not seek applause, but the good of souls. When Leo XIII wrote Rerum Novarum, he did not just make a social analysis. He made an act of courage. Faced with the new economic power that exploited workers and broke up families, the church spoke clearly. Profit cannot be the measure of man. Work is dignity. Social justice is not a utopia. It is an evangelical necessity. Today, Leo XIV finds himself facing an even more subtle challenge. It is not just a question of defending those who work, but of defending the very idea of man. Faced with artificial intelligence, data culture, and the society of efficiency, the human being risks being redefined, reduced, and surpassed. And when man is no longer recognized as the image of God, everything becomes possible, even the most refined injustice. For this, we need a new word from the Church, a new encyclical, capable of addressing not only the economic problem, but the anthropological one. A social doctrine updated, not in principles, but in the battlefield, that forcefully states that no machine, however perfect, can ever replace conscience. That reminds us that technology must serve the person, not dominate him. But more than a document, we need a new pastoral style, a Christian presence that is not afraid to inhabit the challenges of the present, but without giving in to the spirit of the world. We need a thought that knows how to unite faith and reason, science and truth, charity and justice. The Church is called to speak with a strong voice, because in this new epical change, faith is not a detail. It is the key to remaining human. There is something prophetic in the name chosen by Pope Leo XIV. It is not only historical memory, it is a warning. As then, today too, we face a test that will shake the foundations of society. He knows it. He said it. But the voice of one man is not enough. This challenge, silent, technological, dehumanizing, requires an entire church. A church that is not afraid to disturb, that does not exchange truth for approval, that forcefully returns to say what it means to be truly human. Because the time for ambiguity is over, and those who don't speak up now risk never being heard again. What do you think? If you liked the video, comment. Amen. God bless you.